happened? What was your determining factor to change your mind and come here to Tuscaloosa?
Wanted to be in college football, and this is a great place.
Well, 17 years ago, Nick Saban landed in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, to start a great relationship with the University of Alabama, taking over the Crimson Tide, making them a national power, folks. Because before that, they were terrible, like you'd never seen before. They haven't won it before Nick Saban showed up. Gene Stallings won a national title in 1991. That was the last time they won a national title, when they beat Miami in the old Sugar Bowl, where my brother does not want to talk about it.
I know.
Doesn't want to talk about it. So, folks, welcome to a very special edition of the Sports Talk with Chris Heidel here on a Saturday night. We did this a couple of weeks ago with the Orange Bowl, and we're going to do a little tribute to Nick Saban. We have some audio that we did years ago. Folks, we have audio here on HerbFM radio. We've been around since 2007, Adam and Matt, and I had a chance to talk to him for the first time. I think it was back in 2017 on a teleconference call on the before we played the bowl games. So it was an interesting conversation with him. I think he beat Georgia that day in the SEC title game before Kirby Smart showed up. So it was pretty interesting. So if you're out there in video land, we're only on for an hour tonight because we're here as your therapist, like we did last week, a couple weeks ago with the Orange Bowl. If you have any questions, stories, and any Alabama fans out there have stories or anything that you want to share us, anything that you saw, when if you ever met the guy, because I think he seems like one of those cool dudes, one of those guys that you could probably come over your house and have a pretzel and a beer and watch football, on TV, and he'll probably break down the offense for you real quick, and you'll be like, okay, cool. So Matt, let's ask Adam first. Adam, where were you on? Was it Wednesday when we got the news?
I was at work, and
okay.
When I heard the news, I was shocked, saddened. I couldn't believe it. I still can't believe it. And I think a couple of reasons why is the NIL and the transfer portal. And it got me thinking, right, Chris and Matt, we've had some legendary coaches in college football, from obviously Bobby Bowden at Florida State and Don James at Washington, Lavelle Edwards when he was at Brigham Young, Steve Spurrier when he was at Florida. And a question came to my mind. What if all these coaches were still around today? And how would they act with the NIL and the transfer portal?
No, that's a good question. Like, I can see, I don't know, maybe, I don't know if Steve Spurrier will enjoy it. Because I think Spurrier probably would have been like, heck no, I'm not going to have this guy recruit this guy or put him in this portal and use him as a free agent to come to my university. If you want to come to my university, you should be here for 4 years for college. And I think all the old college coaches like Bobby Bowden and Lou Holtz and Steve Spurrier and what's his name, the guy from Woody Hayes and the other guy from Michigan. I don't think they would enjoy this transfer portal if it was back in the 80s. It would probably been shot down.
When he was at Michigan.
Yeah, I think it'd be shot down and we forget about it,
Yeah.
What's your take on it, Matt?
Well, college football has changed. I mean, what Nick Saban. I mean, when I heard the news, I was devastated. I mean, I felt like I lost a part of my body, because Nick Saban. I know a lot of people love him, but a lot of people are on the opposite end. Okay, because you're either Auburn fan or Ohio State fan or whatever, and some people just don't like it that he's been this successful. And But you know what? The man has not just been tremendously successful on the football field. He has developed young men, and that speaks volumes even more than his statistics on the field. Okay, for example, he's won 7 national titles, 6 of them with Alabama, the most of any head coach, most of any coach ever in the history of college football. He's won 292 games. He's gone ahead and won, and I might be off by a couple of these wins, but his SEC record with Alabama only is 117 and 18. Now I know the 18 losses is correct. I might be off by a couple on the wins, but 117 and 18 in 17 years. That means he averages one SEC loss a season, and one season he lost 2 of them. Okay, so that and playing in the SEC, the toughest conference in the country, and only having 1 loss a year for 17 years with Alabama, that just is historic. Okay, and the way that he's developed these athletes, the young men, he has really impacted their lives, their families' lives, and he has done much more than just win titles and win. He won 9 SEC championships with Alabama, 2 with LSU, so he's won a total of 11 SEC championships. I mean, he has done a lot more than just winning titles. I mean, he has developed young men. He's gone ahead and he's really helped out their families. Okay, and when you develop athletes, when you develop these college athletes, you are really molding their future. Okay, he has gone ahead and really set the precedent and gone ahead and when really helped them out in ways that you guys you guys would not believe. I mean, it is just absolutely unbelievable how Nick Saban has impacted these men's lives in a tremendously positive way. And then it impacts their families' lives and everything. And for them to just, live a great life, go ahead and make the most you can out of what you have. And that's my message to everyone, okay? We don't know when our time is up, okay? And make the most of your life. Make the most out of each and every day of your life. Go ahead and just fulfill your goals and dreams, okay? And if I were everyone listening out there, I'd write down your goals, write down what dreams you have, and write down how you're going to accomplish these, because you know what? We only have one life. And you know what Nick Saban has done? Yes, he's a legend, but I put him a step above a legend. We have coaches that are not so good. We have coaches that are good, great. We have coaches that are elite, and we have coaches that are legends. But then we have Nick Saban, which what he's done is he's developed at Alabama a legacy, and that is the ultimate goal. Which building a legacy is few and far between. Men, not over 99% of individuals do not build a legacy because of lack of motivation, lack of drive, lack of hunger. Okay, so that's what he's done. He is beyond a legend, in my opinion. He has built a legacy for Alabama, which will forever be cherished by the Alabama Tuscaloosa community and beyond. And when you can say to yourself that you have built a legacy, you have really gone ahead and impacted thousands and thousands of people. And look at all the coaches that he's developed. Okay, he's developed Steve Sarkisian, Lane Kiffin, Kirby Smart. Okay, amongst others. Okay, but I mean, and look at all 3 of those right now. Steve Sarkisian in the playoffs, Kirby Smart, 2-time defending national champ before Alabama knocked them off, and Kirby Smart has 2 titles as well now. Lane Kiffin had back-to-back 10-win seasons with Ole Miss. Okay, and there's more coaches that he's developed, but those are just a few that have been very successful that are currently successful right now. But I mean, that what he's done, no one I think will ever match what he's done on and off the field.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's now the pinnacle of what a coach is supposed to be like in a college game, and with the transfer portal and everything else, I don't think you're going to see that with coaches anymore, because I think some coaches will give up after a couple of years. They have to wait for somebody to come through the transfer portal, or in your case, Mike Norvell, he'll be there hopefully at Florida State longer than couple of years, because he loves the transfer portal. He's using it as it has its advantage, and just retooling Florida State ready to go.
Yeah.
He is.
And
way to go ahead, Adam.
Oh yeah. There's something that people may not know about Coach Saban. His first ever head coaching job in college was at the University of Toledo.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep.
Then he went to become, and he was there for 1 year. Then he went to become the defensive coordinator for the Cleveland Browns. Who was there also?
Bill Belichick.
Bill, that's right. And then after 4 years, Nick Saban went to Michigan State, okay, in the Big Ten. And while he was there, folks, okay, he led the Spartans to 3 consecutive bowl seasons. And when he was there also, he took his Spartans into Ohio Stadium when Ohio State was number 1 in 1998 and knocked them off. Okay. And then in the following year, he knocked off Ohio State, Penn State, and Michigan. And that's hard to do when it comes to the Big Ten. So, a lot of people don't realize Nick Saban, the Big Ten, it was strong back in the day. Believe that Bill Burke was one of Nick Saban's quarterbacks when he was there, and he was a lefty. I believe also Jeff Smoker was a quarterback when Nick Saban was in East Lansing. So a lot of people don't realize, it's not just about the SEC. Nick Saban was also a head coach in the Big Ten, and that conference is not easy to coach in as well.
Right.
And Adam, and you're right. And he had tremendous success there. And when he went to LSU, I know he was with the Dolphins for a season and NFL, but when he came ahead and went to LSU and he won a national title, I mean, that was just unbelievable. And so Adam, and to what you were saying, he's been a success no matter where he's gone. And here's another stat that I don't know if you guys know out there, but he is the only coach in the history of college football that has won a national championship in 3 decades. Okay. Wow. I mean, first of all, you have to be coaching for a very long time to be doing that. Number one. Number two, you have to be relevant, and he's been relevant. He competes each and every year for national championships, and it's just absolutely unbelievable. 3 decades he's won a championship in. So I mean, it just is unbelievable, his success, and I'm hoping that Kalen DeBoer can. I mean, I know he's not going to be a Nick Saban and win and only lose 1 game a season, but I'm hoping that they can still compete this upcoming year. If they can be at least competing, that'll be a success within itself. But I mean, I'm hoping honestly, if they have 2 losses, they'll be in the playoffs, and that'd be a great season. Okay, and then they can go ahead and compete. But I don't know about that with only having 2 losses. But we'll see how it goes.
And also in 1999, Michigan State also beat Notre Dame as well. So in 1999, when Nick Saban was head coach of Michigan State, he knocked off Ohio State, Penn State, Notre Dame, and Michigan. Yeah, that's saying something.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah, he beat and also he beat he didn't play in the bowl game. He didn't coach the bowl game. He went to LSU. No. But
yep,
he beat Penn State, Northwestern. The only team he lost to that year was Purdue and Wisconsin. Wisconsin blew him out and up there in beautiful.
I believe Wisconsin had a running back named Ron Dane that year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Wisconsin won.
I guess Matt, they opened up the 99 season Michigan State versus Oregon.
Yes, they did.
Yeah. And then he went off to Tuscaloosa, and his first win was against Western Carolina. That's what I brought that up for you.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, basically it was the old fashioned. The first game of the year was just beat the crap out of them.
It was 56. It was a money game for Western Carolina. You know, it was to help them out. So,
but when he went to LSU, his first game, for the Tigers, let's see here. I know he played against Florida State a couple of years when he was at LSU. Or Arkansas. No, Alabama. We had a game with him. It's funny. His first game at Alabama was against Western Carolina. His first game at LSU was against Western Carolina. So I guess he likes Western Carolina.
That's right.
Yeah, I think he does. And when guys, Chris and Adam, I don't know how you feel about this, but I mean, I know that I was extremely disheartened when I heard the news, but you know what? I have to applaud Nick Saban because you know what? He went out on his terms. He did not let the administration, athletic director force him out or say, "Oh, you have to leave," or "You're having 3 or 4 consecutive losing seasons and then you're getting too old." None of that. I know that myself, Alabama Nation, Tuscaloosa Nation community, and a lot of other people are really hurting. But the thing is that he knew when to hang him up. He knew that when, just like what he said, if I could not give it my all, if I could not, because he's not a man that goes ahead and says, "Oh, I'm just going to give 50 or 70 or even 80%. He gives 1,000%. And he goes ahead and I mean, he said on one of the things I watched and listened to, he spent working 14-hour days just about every single day. 14-hour days. That's a long, very, very long day, whether if it's coaching, whether if it's watching film, talking with his players, talking with his coaches, whatnot. So that's a very long day. And you know what? The thing is, you have to be willing to put in that time. And since he is older and everything, and since he's definitely, when you do get older, your body you can't do the things that you used to do when you were younger. So, but I just really applaud him for really just, I mean, I know he didn't want to end it the way he did, but he really ended it perfectly, excluding the playoffs. Okay, because in my opinion, that should have been a win, but that's neither here nor there. But the thing is, he ended it just as perfect as you could. Okay, he went ahead and beat LSU, which is one of the rivals. He beat Auburn. Okay, in absolutely thrilling fashion, 4th and 31. Okay, and again, the snapper had issues in that game as well. The snapper snapped the ball, and they were at, I believe, the 10-yard line or something. They snapped it. They lost about 15, 18 yards, and then it was 4th and forever, which it was 4th and 31, 4th and goal. Okay, so and then Milroe goes and throws this amazing pass, which was probably about 35, almost 40 yards by the time he hiked the ball and was back behind the line of scrimmage. Okay, so and he threw it to Isaiah Bond, who caught it in the corner for a touchdown, and Alabama won the game in absolutely thrilling fashion. Okay, so he beat LSU, he beat Auburn in absolutely thrilling fashion. Then He goes to the SEC championship game, the 2-time defending national champs, Georgia Bulldogs. And what does he do? When everyone says Georgia's going to beat you, run all over you, he beats them. He beats the 2-time defending national champs. So really, what else does he have to prove? Yeah, he could have won another national title, beat Michigan or Washington, or if Texas would want to beat them as well, okay? But really, at that point, when he went ahead and beat those 3 teams this season, okay, and he won another SEC championship, I mean, there's nothing else for this man to prove. I mean, he has done everything that you could ever ask for. And, I mean, he's done enough for 10 coaches' lifetimes. I mean, there are coaches out there that will love to just have 10% of Nick Saban's success. Okay? I mean, it's absolutely amazing. So I mean, yes, I would love for him to win our title. I know everyone else does as well, but he ended it on his terms. He felt great with beating his rivals, winning another SEC championship game against Georgia. So, I mean, so he rides off into the sunset. I think not feeling bad at all because, I mean, he went ahead and accomplished everything he wanted to do this season except for winning the national championship. But, I mean, but for that team was really the team he had this season really went ahead and he had a lot of work to do. And just like what he said, he went ahead and had to put in a lot of work, a lot of time. And this team really, really came very far from the week 2 or 3, about week 3 of the season to the end of the season. They went ahead, and that is tremendous improvement that team demonstrated and showed. And so, I mean, that was really, really tremendous. And when he did go ahead and announce him retiring, I was like, oh gosh. But thinking about it, looking at it, it's like he has nothing else to prove. So for him to really reflect on all that, and for him and his wife, Miss Terry, to say, you know what, is it time for me to leave? And like, can I sustain the same energy? Can I sustain this throughout next season? He might be able to sustain the same energy for 4 games, 5 games, but obviously he couldn't sustain the same energy, which he admitted and said, and that's fine. And I really applaud him for doing that because there's not many coaches. In fact, there's really not any coaches I know of that have left on their own terms. Okay. Mm-hmm. They've all been forced out or other stuff has happened, okay, to legendary coaches, and that has scarred their name and image and all that kind of stuff. So, but you know what? He left out on his own. He left out on a high note, just like what Derek Jeter did for baseball, like what Peyton Manning did for the Colts, because I believe he left winning a Super Bowl, okay? And when Jeter won, I mean, they didn't win a World Series, but Jeter went ahead and he won in winning fashion against his rival with the Baltimore Orioles. So I really, really applaud him for knowing when it's time to leave. So yeah, hats off to him. Hats off for everything that he's done for that university and for those players and their families and everything.
Well, I have some audio and some video. Times here on HerbFM Radio, we talked to Nick Saban. So let's go back to the Wayback Pile. This is way back to 2017 when they always do, Adam, they do these bowl games. You know, they like the Sugar Bowl teleconference call with the coaches, the first thing of the bowl games. You know, so I was very fortunate to talk to Coach Saban. And this is back in, I want to say 2017, so don't mind the voice because I kind of was like, you know, like you're talking to a legend. You're trying not to slip up because when you slip up with him, he'll tell you a brand new one has a nice gesture. So here's Nick Saban's, my question to Nick Saban the first time I talked to the coach.
Your line is open.
This question is for Coach Saban.
Okay.
Hi, Coach. Congratulations on winning yesterday in the SEC championship game. Just talk about your team. What you like about your team yesterday, coming back from 21 points, your rival in Georgia. What did you like about seeing your team yesterday coming back?
Well, it's really the first, opportunity that we've been in that situation, and I'm not saying I was happy to be in it. We didn't execute really well at times in the game, but the perseverance that we showed, the competitive spirit to keep fighting in the game and finding a way to come back and win the game. Jalen Hurts coming in the game and doing a really good job of kind of rallying the team when Tua went out, even though Tua has been one of the outstanding players in college football all season long. It was real character check, and I was really proud of the way our players responded. I think there's a lot of lessons for us to be learned in terms of getting back to more positive execution and not putting ourselves in that position hopefully all the time.
And the quarterback for Oklahoma is a good baseball player. I know he's been drafted by the Athletics, but what do you think about him as a football player?
Well, I haven't watched him much. I've seen him on TV a couple times, and I think he's about as dynamic as any player I've seen all season long. Got great quickness, does a good job of executing their offense, can run, can throw, they make a lot of explosive plays. They got a really good offensive scheme, and the system is something that he flourishes in.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, that was me talking to Nick Saban, for the first time, and not bad. I was a little nervous, but I think the coach, the quarterback for Oklahoma, was the one who got drafted by the Cardinals. I think that was Murray, right?
Yeah, Kyler Murray.
Yeah, Kyler Murray, who was the one who got drafted by the Cardinals, by the Athletics, and then now he's in Arizona. So. Mm-hmm. That's very interesting. So.
I think about this. Speaking of football, Jalen Hurts came to Alabama after playing in Oklahoma, and you think about all the players that Coach Saban has coached, in Alabama. You think of Greg McElroy.
Uh-huh.
You think of John Parker Wilson. You think about, there's there's so many players he coached and taught,
mm-hmm.
and they've gone on to live really great lives in the NFL, playing in the NFL, and winning Super Bowls, winning playoff games, winning conference championships and divisions. And I read something online a couple days ago, and somebody said this: how about renaming the field Nick Saban Field at Bryant-Denny Stadium?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I like that.
What do you guys think?
They'll do
I
that.
like it.
They may not do it right away. They'll do it, probably next year or.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think there should be a statue, for Nick Saban outside of Bryant-Denny Stadium as well.
What?
And,
Adam, not to cut you off, but there actually is a statue of Nick Saban.
Yeah, there is. Yeah. And it's like, you think about all the wins he's had. I will say this: the last time Coach Saban went to Knoxville, it was 250 teams, and Rocky Top won on a game winning knuckleball, field goal.
Yeah.
I don't think Nick Saban will ever forget. At least he doesn't have to go to Tennessee anymore. Since
he can go there to visit. He doesn't have to worry about coaching.
That's true, Chris. But at least he doesn't. To me, it won't be the same on the third Saturday of October without Coach Saban on the sidelines for Alabama taking on Tennessee.
Right.
So I got to ask you guys, because I know I said quite a bit about Nick Saban so far, but how do you feel about him retiring? So Adam, so how do you feel about how he's impacted college football?
He's impacted the game a lot, a whole lot. I think I would rank him in all the coaches I've seen, on TV, all the years I've watched college football. I would rank him in the top 10. There's so many great coaches that, mentioned Don James at Washington, Lavelle Edwards at BYU. We can't forget about Jimmy Johnson when he was at Miami. Of course, Bobby Bowden at Florida State, Steve Spurrier at Florida. Bo Schembechler when he was at Michigan, John Cooper when he was at Ohio State.
And don't forget Knute Rockne, Lou Holtz.
Lou Holtz when he was at Notre Dame, yeah.
Knute Rockne when he was at Notre Dame, Frank Leahy when he was at Notre Dame.
From when I started watching college football. So I would put Nick Saban in the top 10. For me, I would put Nick Saban in the top 10 greatest coaches in college football history. I think and I'll even say this, I think to me, in my list, he's ahead of Bear Bryant. And we all know how good of a coach Bear Bryant was in Alabama.
Yeah, he is. He is ahead of Bear Bryant. If you look at his record, he has more national titles than Bear Bryant. He has more SEC. Yep. He's second on the list for SEC wins. Mm-hmm. Behind Bear Bryant. So Bear Bryant is if you say SEC football, that's SEC football. So that's going to be
Chris, the interesting thing is he's ahead of him in total national championships, but in regards to Alabama national championships, they're tied at 6 each. So if he would have won this year, then he would have surpassed him with Alabama. But overall, because he won one with LSU, that's why he's passed Bear Bryant with overall national championships. So, yeah. So Chris, how do you feel that he's impacted college football?
I think he changed what college football was before he went off to the NFL for the second time. With the Dolphins, he was. I think he was establishing himself at LSU, and I think LSU, he got a great deal at Miami to go down to the NFL and see if he could do the NFL because his best friend, Bill Belichick is, in New England at the time. So he was like, that'd be cool to take on my friend for a couple of years, and they both have the same record, for 4 games, 2-2. Nobody won this series. It's tied 500. 2-2 apiece, and nobody had won. And then when he came back, I think when he was at Miami, I think he did Miami wrong by leaving half the season.
Did.
Yeah, because I think Miami was I think he had a problem with a I think he was part of that Monday Night Football game that the Jets came back and won that miracle at the Meadowlands.
I believe so, yeah.
And I think that really changed his mind, going, "Why am I here in the NFL when nobody freaking wants to listen to me?" Because you got people who pay, you got people who are paying. You pay your players now in the NFL. That's why you didn't see Spurrier doing pretty well. Didn't do well at all. He won one year. He was 8-8, and then next year he was like 4-12, 5-11. Yeah. And then he told me a couple of years ago that it just didn't work.
Yeah. There are some coaches who are born to coach only college football, and there are some coaches who are born to coach college and the NFL, and then there are coaches who are born to coach just the NFL. And Nick Saban and Steve Spurrier tried the NFL, and it just didn't work, and they went back to knowing what they did, knowing what they know, and that was to coach college football.
Yeah, Adam, you're exactly right. And it's and in regards to Nick Saban, and I'm not the only one to say this, but I would put him down as not only the best coach in the history of college football, but I would put him down as the best coach in all of sports. I mean, and again, I'm taking it with what Nick Saban has done. It's more than X's and O's. It's more than the wins and losses. That I mean, it's way more than that. He has really, I mean, he has really developed these young men, and it takes time to do that. It takes time for the players to buy into your system, to your program, and for him to just be at that consistent level of competing every year, and not just competing, but winning national championships. And then off the field, he's done tremendous things with his players and the impact that he's had on them. That's, I mean, he's, in my opinion, the greatest coach in all of sports. I mean, I know we have had tremendous coaches like Coach Krzyzewski, Coach Roy Williams with Carolina, Coach Bobby Knight. But, I mean, I would definitely, and I know I'm not the only person to say this because I think I heard someone else say it as well, but I definitely would put him down as the greatest coach in all sports. I mean, it's just, he has had, when you go on that field, you feel like that it's like, you just feel like a different person. And when you will be a different individual, whether if you're his coach or if you're his player, because of the tenure that you've had with him.
Yeah.
It's just amazing what he's done.
And also,
Well, Matt,
guys,
let's play your interview, dude. You had a chance to talk to him, a year ago was this time?
Yes, and let me tell you, when I spoke with him, I was like, I hope I say the right things. Hope I asked the right question. But I gotta say, it was an honor and privilege to get to ask Coach Nick Saban, the legend, a question. So go ahead, Chris.
So here's Matt's video interview with Nick Saban.
There you go.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Coach. So just talk about like how the season like has progressed, and just what kind of things have you noticed with the weaknesses, and how you can use that to turn those into strengths in this bowl game, given that you got a really powerful Kansas State team that you guys are going to be playing against.
Right. Well, I think every adversity creates an opportunity, and I certainly think that we had some adversity, throughout the season. I think it started when Bryce got hurt at Arkansas and didn't play in the A&M game and was not probably full strength for the next month, of the season. And, we didn't make the progress that we would have liked to made during that time. But we lost two really tough games on the last play of the game in both instances. And, we had opportunities in both of those games and weren't able to take advantage of it. I think our team learned a lot, from that. And I thought we played, well as a team in the last three games. So hopefully we can continue to build on that.
Not bad. Good question.
Thanks. Well, yeah, Kristen, your question was great as well. And I gotta say that was an honor and privilege. And I was nervous. And by the way, for everyone listening, Kansas State was not a powerful team. Okay. I don't know why I said that, but
you gotta make it sound good to coaches. You gotta say good to coaches want to hear powerful, hard. You don't want to go up to, you don't want to say, Coach, this is going to be a cakewalk for you and you're going to win your Sugar Bowl title. It's going to be. There's a lot of coaches who go look at them like, how dare you call it a cakewalk? They play really hard over it. Like he had that interview a couple of years ago. Some guy asked him about his quarterbacks against New Mexico State. Remember the game before Auburn? And everybody, he tore this guy up so bad, saying like, "Why you care who's quarterback? Is we still have to play a game." And he's like, I don't understand you folks here, you media people here, that you have to come up with some kind of crap to tell me that why is this guy starting, this guy starting? Because I decide who wants to start, and I'm not going to have my players, my number one quarterback, I don't know who it was at the time, to come back, play this game that's not really worth anything just to keep us in an undefeated season.
Yep.
And then he had a hard time. I think he had a hard time with this team, and they were leading at the half. And then I think he turned it around in the second half and beat them. But he was getting heat like, oh my God, they're losing at the half.
And also, guys, we must forget about something. Coach Nick Saban coached 4 Heisman Trophy winners: Mark Ingram, Derrick Henry, Devontae Smith, and most recently Bryce Young, who's now here in Charlotte. And well, I hope they can have some.
Well, now Nick Saban's available. Maybe the new Panther coach could reach out to him and say, "Hey, can you help us out here?"
Yeah, because you know how hard it is to live in North Carolina with the Panthers, as bad as they were. It was not easy during the football season.
Well, just think, you have Mac Brown with North Carolina Tar Heels.
I can say that. Yeah, I can say that. Yeah. Nick Saban will. Nick Saban has had a legendary game. And we must forget about something. The voice of Alabama Crimson Tide football, Eli Gold. He has broadcast some of Nick Saban's legendary games. All the SEC championships he won at Alabama, all the national championships. Think about some of the most memorable games, including the one this year against Auburn, and some losses, especially the kick six game.
Oh, no, Adam.
I know, Matt. But
that's
still,
well, Alabama fans have forgot that, but continue.
Eli Gold has been up there for the Crimson Tide Sports Network, broadcasting a lot of Alabama Crimson Tide games when Nick Saban was at the head coach, and Eli Gold is one tremendous announcer. I got a lot of respect for him.
Oh yeah, Eli Gold, he's a tremendous announcer,
and Eli Gold fought cancer, and he won.
And that's amazing.
He had to miss a year. Eli Gold fought cancer, and he won. So we can't forget about the voice of Alabama football. Broadcasting so many of Coach Nick Saban's legendary victories. And championships as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, we have one more video that we did over the years. It was really cool. I got a chance to talk to Coach Saban just back in the pandemic year. When I think they played Cincinnati in the Cotton Bowl part of the national championship semifinal before they took on. I think they took on Georgia right after that.
Yes, they did.
Yeah. So here's a cool, calm, collective Nick Saban, because I asked him a question about his defense, because they played lights out against Cincinnati that day. So here it is.
The next question comes from Christopher Heidel. Go ahead, Christopher.
Good evening, Coach Saban. Chris Heidel from HerbFM Radio in Baltimore. Talk about your defense. You guys did a fantastic job controlling that high-power offense, Cincinnati. Are you guys peaking at the right time, or you think that the next game might be the pinnacle of the season?
Well, I think that every team that you play offers different challenges, and whether it's matchups, whether it's the style of offense that they play. I think we had a good plan. I think the players did a good job of executing the plan. They played well together. And we didn't give these guys a lot of explosive plays. That's one of the things that they've been sort of known for offensively all year long is, they run, and then they make a big play in the passing game. And we were able to limit that. And I think that was the key to the drill. And it took some patience, but I thought Pete did a really good job of being patient. We wanted to make them drive it through. And, twice I think they got the ball in the red zone and didn't make a touchdown, didn't score a touchdown. So And, red zone and third down is big on getting off the field. And I think we had 3 fourth down stops to go with that. So, the defense did a good job. The defensive staff did a good job. And the players did a great job of executing the plan.
Okay, we'll next go to Robert with.
Well, that's the our trip around Nick Saban here on the show. Yeah, so
well, good question, Chris.
Yeah, it was a good
thank
question.
Thank you. Yeah, I think he actually liked the question. He didn't he looks a dude. He didn't get fired up because the next question somebody asked him a bonehead question and he was like, really?
but guys, there's lots of just memorable games with Alabama winning the game. For example, when they played Georgia in the national championship game, okay, and I believe they got shut out, and then now this takes a tremendous amount of courage to do this. The quarterback was quarterbacking the whole season, and then he benches him and puts in Tua for the second half. And Tua was the one that went ahead and he won the second half because I believe they didn't score a point the whole first half. So it was I think it was 21-0 at halftime, Georgia. And so Alabama came back from a 3-touchdown deficit. And again, it was a 4th and forever kind of play. Again, it was 4th and goal at the 24, 25-yard line. So, and Tua made this absolutely miraculous pass, and Alabama, and I'll never forget where I was at. I was in my apartment, not the apartment I'm in now, but I was in my apartment watching the game, and there was close to midnight, if not midnight, and when he went ahead and passed that ball, and he made that catch, and Alabama won the game. I jumped so high, screaming, yelling. I know that my whole building heard me yelling and screaming, which is totally fine. But it was just, you got that game. You just have all these big games when they played their rivals. And Auburn always gave us a hard time. Auburn, LSU, okay?
And Tennessee.
And when Tennessee. But Auburn, I'll never forget also with that, it was several years ago. We had no business of winning that game, but then the last 2 minutes of the game, we had a game-winning drive to end up winning that game.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, but that's what Nick Saban does. He pulls out a big win. And people don't know it after a while. Oh, that's a big win. That's a big win.
Yeah, it is. So speaking about big wins, speaking about moving forward, Kalen DeBoer is the new head coach and everything. So, Chris, what are your thoughts about the new head coach for Alabama?
Well, I think the new coach at Alabama he doesn't realize to replace him in a legend, and it's going to be a while. And I hope the folks in I'm waiting. I hope they understand that it's going to take a little while for him to get his system together. Nick Saban had a system already put together for 17 years, and they knew exactly what they're going to be doing. Don't be surprised. Alabama gets out of the gate 3-4, and everybody starts going, "Oh my God, what's going on with Alabama?" And you're his name, the coach for Washington, who just became the coach at Alabama, on the hot seat already. Really? They just got down there, people. Come on, give me a break. So, yeah. I do want to play a clip from SportsCenter. This just sums it up real quick. The folks at ESPN. I found this on Twitter real quick before tonight's show. So let's just play it real quick.
Saban winning a record seven national championships, including 6 at Alabama, where he created a college football dynasty. This story was first reported by ESPN's Chris Lowe in the last hour. The 72-year-old's last game was at the Rose Bowl in a semifinal loss to eventual champ Michigan 9 days ago. But he called this season, quote, one of the most amazing seasons in Alabama football history.
Hey, he enjoyed the season, but here's my question: you went out being a loser.
No, he went out being a winner. I disagree because, because again, him beating LSU, he avenged his loss from the prior season.
Yeah.
He beat Tennessee. He avenged his loss from the prior season with that. He beats Auburn in absolutely thrilling fashion. Then he beats a two-time defending national champ. No other win, whether if he would be Michigan, Texas, and Washington, all three of those teams, no other win would top beating the two-time defending national champ Georgia Bulldogs with Kirby Smart. So when he won that game, he might have already had in his mind, you know what? With all that I've accomplished, with everything, with the grind that I'm going to have to put in next season, and I may not be able to put in it because of my age. He might have been contemplating right then and there, hey, maybe I'm going to retire. So no, he left a winner. So,
well, it's now college football has I don't know who's going to be the face of college football. I think Kirby Smart's right now. That's where Georgia is now. Georgia's the new Alabama. And then don't forget, there's a guy down in Tallahassee trying to,
who just signed a brand new 8-year, $10 million deal.
Yeah. Did you see the video, Adam, today of when Mike Norvell sent him?
Yep, I sure did. Yeah, because you sent it to me, and for you folks who don't remember, we had an 8-year-old named Michael Johnston on to talk about the letter he gave Coach Mike Norvell after the loss to Georgia. Well, the folks in Tallahassee did something really cool for Michael, especially Coach Norvell. Coach Norvell actually sent Michael an autographed picture.
Yeah.
And
awesome.
It was really cool to have Michael on and his dad and his mom when we did. It truly brought tears to my eyes, what Michael did. He's only 8 years old, and he did that. So, that's, what Mike Norvell did, for Michael with the autograph picture. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that was awesome, Adam. That was great that Mike Norvell did that, and that was just tremendous. So Adam, so the same question I asked Chris, what do you think about Kalen DeBoer?
I like him. He came from a winning school in Washington. You think about the year Washington had only one loss, knocked off Oregon twice. Washington was the face of the Pac-12, and I cannot say anything bad about him. I think he'll do really good in Tuscaloosa. Has a lot of good talent there. So I don't think Alabama, even though Oklahoma and Texas are joining the SEC in August, Alabama ain't going away. No.
And that, Adam, and I'd like to hear that. That's what I like to hear because, looking at Kalen DeBoer, he is a winner, and he's a winner on and off the field, and he knows how to develop players as well. So they definitely chose a great coach because right now, I think DeBoer is under the radar completely. He is a 3-time. He's won a national championship in the NAIA league. Okay, national championship in that 3 times. I believe his record was 65-3. During his tenure with the NAIA, he was 9-3 with his full season at Fresno State, and then when he took over, he was 3-3 to the year prior. So he went ahead and brought back Fresno State with that 9-3 season. Then he went to Washington, and what's he done in Washington? Not much. He's just been 25-3. Okay, with this year being 14-1, taking the Washington Huskies, who no one projected them to make the playoffs at all. Okay, they not only made the playoffs, but they made it to a national championship game and almost won. And they were then they really had a real shot deep into the midway into the fourth quarter. They only trailed by a touchdown. So, I mean, the guy's a winner. So with more talent, with more talented players that you're going to have at Alabama, I mean, I just think we need to show patience because he definitely will have losses this season. How many? I don't know. I don't think he's going to win against Georgia. LSU, Auburn, Oklahoma, those are all question marks right now. I'm hoping he can win Auburn, LSU. He might lose against Oklahoma. I mean, he could win all three of those and just lose against Georgia, and that'd be absolutely phenomenal. But and also put in, I don't know if they played Tennessee or not this year, but the thing is, I don't think they do, but they might. But the thing is, those three games right there, those are again question marks. Okay, I mean they got a tough schedule. They have 9 teams, or at least 9 teams that have made the bowl game that's on their schedule for this upcoming season. So it's going to be a tough road. Just I'm hoping Alabama fans have patience. I'm hoping we can be at least in the conversation of a playoff, making the playoffs. I know we're going to lose against Georgia in week 3, 4, whenever we play them the first month of the season. So that'll be a loss. But after that loss, we're going to have to, show how we can overcome adversity and how we can overcome that loss.
Exactly.
And now show us what kind of coach that he is. And who knows? He could pull off an unbelievable upset because no one's going to give him a chance against Georgia. And I don't think many people are going to give him a chance against LSU, Oklahoma, or maybe even Auburn. I mean, you might be half and half with Auburn, but, I mean, you're not going to have many people that are going to give him a chance at all against Georgia, if any, maybe only Alabama fans. And then LSU, not many people either, and Oklahoma as well. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. I'm hoping for the best. I know I listened to his statement today to address the players and the media, and well, not the players, but the media and everything today. The athletic director welcomed him into Alabama as a new coach. I listened to that, and he was on spot. I mean, he was energizing me when I was listening to that. So I'm very pleased and happy that we do have him. But I gotta say, right now, the 2 biggest coaches in all college football, guys, is Kirby Smart with Georgia and Mike Norvell with Florida State. And you know what I gotta say? I gotta say, Tide.
Right, folks, we're going to wrap it up here. There's only an hour we got on our meter, so we got to go. So we'll see Monday night at 8 o'clock. We'll have Ricky Pavlis from the new Tampa Bay Ray will be joining us. We'll have Eric Sherman, who is a writer who wrote a book about the 1969 Miracle Mets. He was a fan. He was a friend of Bud Harrelson, who passed away last week. We'll talk to one of the Patriots public address editor, John Ronick, who will be joining us as well. We'll talk his Bill Belichick legacy up there in New England. And then we'll see who we got from Wichita, because Ryan Barnes and Bill O'Neill and Tom Smallwood are your bowlers on the final. And Ryan Barnes is Chris Barnes' son. So we might get Chris Barnes on the show on Monday to critique his son's performance. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll have him to be the analyst of his son. And he did bowl his son in the match play there, Adam, and his son beat him 195 to 193.
Wow.
Yeah. So I think somebody was buying him dinner, or somebody was walking home in the subterranean up there in Wichita. So we'll see you guys Monday night, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thanks for letting us be part of your Saturday night for an hour. And we'll leave you with a little tribute that I think ESPN did for Nick Saban. We'll see you all on Monday.
How do you begin to tell your story? It's hard to imagine that one man could change a university, a program, a town, and a team as much as you have. But here you are, Your story started on a tarmac in Tuscaloosa, and sure, there were some challenges to overcome, but you believed in the process.
And what I would like for every football team to do that we play is to sit there and say, I hate playing against these guys.
Little did anyone know, 2009 would end up with a crystal ball in Pasadena and the first Heisman Trophy in school history.
The Heisman Trophy is awarded to Mark Ingram.
But it wasn't just the trophies you were after. You cared for this town and its people. When disaster struck in 2011 and a tornado tore through Tuscaloosa, you and Miss Terry were the ones who believed you could rebuild. You didn't run from adversity. You attacked it. Sure, LSU won the first time in 2011.
LSU remains undefeated.
But not the second. Your back was against the wall so many times. You and your team fought its way out.
We control it right here.
2012.
Celebrations begin. Alabama wins.
2015. The Alabama Brotherhood means something. Just look at 2017. Jalen cared about one thing, the team.
Wouldn't be surprised if he gets a shot.
And Tua entered. And then, magic.
Tagovailoa trying to make up for it. Fires to the end zone. Touchdown! Alabama wins!
But as you always have, you saw the bigger picture. And in 18, the roles were reversed. And you had an unwavering belief in your players like you always have.
I'm so proud of this guy for what he's done this year. I can't even tell you.
Fast forward to 2020. You saw a time where you had to stand for something. You listened, trusted your players, stood with them, and they believed in you. It ended with more hardware. But the hardware was never what you were chasing, was it, Coach? No, you were after the relationships, the growth, the standard, the love of the game. And not to mention, you had a heck of an assistant coach to help you do it. But now, Coach Saban, the next chapter of your life begins.
Roll Tide, baby. Here we go.
And you get to do the one thing that maybe you aren't great at. Rest. Maybe the whistle won't be around your neck and the headset is tucked away. And now, instead of coach, you'll hear Papa, Dad, Brother, and Nick. Your process may change. The process you taught so many, that will live on forever. Coach, what you've built isn't going anywhere. The standard isn't going anywhere. And believe it or not, your story is still being written. So as you embark on your next journey, continue to enjoy the memories. Cherish the moments. Continue to love the process. And as you said best, Coach, this isn't the end. This is the beginning.